on this wetland day, I would like to make some presentation enlightening the aquatic resources and its relation to amphibia. Now, as all of you know, that wetlands provide critical habitat as well as important ecosystem services. But in the present time, wetlands around the world are ranked among the habitat most threatened by climate change. They can, in the amphibia, along with other, are showing decline with the loss of wetlands. Amphibians are signatures of ecosystem health and alert us to deteriorating conditions. We in the Northeast India have wetlands as well as the aquatic resources, and in a broad sense, distributed across latitude, longitude and altitude. Right from the floodplain to tropical, subtropical, temperate up to the alpine region. We have aquatic resources like very fast flowing streams, the cascades, the falls, as well as sipping or slow moving streams, nalas, and also the big rivers. In fact, big rivers are not so very important as a habitat for the amphibians as a whole, but the shallow regions along with the riparian zone act as excellent habitat for the amphibians for their daily activities as well as for the breeding and the retreating places. Today, we have alpine lakes and the streams of high altitude where all the species of amphibians are distributed utilizing various types of niches. In nutshell, we have around 136 plus of anurans, 2 species of salamanders and 12 species of the etherfish, or rather we can say that's the gymnophorus. Now, in this we have several endemic species belong to the genera Telodama, Nanorana, as well as Liurana. The fall from very high altitude, which is actually running into the slow flowing rivers, supportive of various species of amolops and again some species of Nanorana. At mid and high altitude, we have some plain areas in which the only species of Hyla, this Hyla is available, Hyla annectans, and also species of Megaphris. The endemic species of Doptophrynus are available in this type of streams and this pristine riparian vegetation along with the species of these big frogs which we call as Odorana. And also we have endemic species of Philotus, Jungicellus, and this Philotus endemic species occupying the riparian bushes, though they don't have direct dependence on water as a whole, but they require large amount of moisture in the air. The species of Rhacophorus as well as some Theloderma and Pterorana are also inhabiting these actually aquatic resources, the falls and the slow and fast flowing streams. The trickle frog and also the Denorana found in the seepage and or the amolobs, then the Rhacophora staroensis in this type of streams flowing through this. The species of amolobs which is found in the lower altitude is the Amolobs assamensis, is also endemic to this region. Ultimately, the streams and falls flow into the plain, and at the junction we may have the Limnonectis, Clinotersus, as well as some species of Megaphries. One species of Leptobrachium and Leptolalax are found in this region. So we have a very diversified habitat of the aquatic resources, and several species of Rhacophoras as well as Pilotus occupying the riparian vegetation, utilizing these aquatic resources for their breeding as well as for their different types of activities. In the plain we have the wetlands, which are pools of water like bills, lakes, etc., which are supportive of other different species, mainly of the dicroglossids and the ranids, and these include Euplectis and also Phaehyla. These are the, of course, Rhacophoras, Polypetitis, and the Chirobentis or Chirixillas nowadays. There are, during the winter, when the river bed dries up, the pools of waters are available, and these pools during winter supportive of certain species which breed during winter in this, which are Euplectis as well as Doctophrynus. This type of pool is very important for the survival of Hoplobatrachus, Humerana, then our Hylarana species, and in fact the Microhyla species which require some, there's the standing pool of water, though they are stream dweller, but they require some standing pool of water for their breeding. Polypetitis species specifically occupy niches in the hanging vegetation over the aquatic resources, specifically the pools of water as well as stream, in order to make their larvae to survive, because they used to construct foam nest, and this from the foam nest the larvae drops down into the aquatic resource. Moreover, in the bills, in the mud, or just close to the bills as well as aquatic resources, certain fossorial species like Calola calophrenius and Euperidon make their home. So, as a whole, amphibian habitats can be classified into different types of conditions like standing water bodies, streams. The streams may be sweet, slow or seepage, aquatic vegetation, leaf litter, marshes, also the fossorial, bushes, shrubs and herbs, and canopy, but all are related to aquatic vegetation. The eggs are laid. The eggs are directly laid in water, either laid directly in water or on certain vegetation from where the larvae can go back to water, except in certain groups where there is direct development occur. Now, if we try to make out the reproductive diversity, we have 29 reproductive modes found in Amphibia, of which in Northeast 8 modes are available, and these are all related to water. One type of, that's like egg and feeding tadpole in standing water. The second type is egg and feeding tadpole in running water. The third type is egg but endotrophic tadpoles. That's are not in, they're found in water but non-feeding. We have egg plus feeding tadpole. Eggs are laid in on terrestrial environment, and tadpoles are carried by rainwater into the nearby ponds. Egg feeding tadpoles in tree holes where water accumulates. Also foam nest plus feeding tadpole in stream. And foam nest and feeding tadpole in ponds. The direct development shown by Philotas and certain other groups, only the Philotas are available here, where they require large amount of moisture, and within the egg actually shell, there's the mucous membrane that is to develop from the tadpole up to the miniature frog. There are different types of habitat types for larval development, of all which require water, either in tree hole or pool of water, and even certain areas which are actually found near the roads are also being utilized. In envelopes, when they stay in water in the very first cascade, they have this type of sucker just to cling to the substrate. Now, in this area or the region, we have species of pitcher plant. There are also reports that pitcher plant, water accumulation in the pitcher plant being used by the tadpole in certain species of microhyla. And we don't know, in future we may come across such type of diversity as well. Now, from this, we could know that the various species of amphibians live in streams and various types of wetland areas. And they occupy various trophic niche from plantivores to carnivores, and often serve as abundant and important prey for wildlife. The ectothermic physiology of amphibians allow them to exploit energy-poor resources, and thus serves as critical link between the lowest and highest trophic level within a community. Many depend only on the aquatic environment to escape desiccation of eggs and to ensure growth of their larvae. Other amphibians, like Euphlyctis, require water year-round. Many species feed in water, while others actually forage on ground, but specifically in the riparian areas. Aquatic resources constitute the perfect breeding environment, and riparian areas are fundamental for most of the amphibians. So, for the sake of these very important components of the environment, we have to conserve the wetland. And today, the day of wetland, I like to give you a message that conservation of wetland will help in conservation of amphibians as a whole. Thank you.